Yes, and of course, it's Paul B 2012. So you can catch him on paulp2012.com. And of course, he's had almost 3,000 Facebook likes, over 2,300 Twitter followers, and will break 900,000 YouTube views by next week. Paul P, are you there? I think we've got him live on the line.
I'm right here. How you doing?
Congratulations, you're live on WestSide Radio, 89.6 FM. Paul, would you like to tell the listeners a bit about yourself? I've been telling them about your superb achievements that are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, man. I'm Paul P, Los Angeles, California, where I always stay sunny. I'm a hip-hop artist out here, and I'm doing my thing right now, man. I got a lot of people following me right now. I just basically started the internet thing about 2 months ago, and since it's been up, I'm like 100,000 views away from 1 million views. So I got it going on, and I'm killing the shows out here, places like the Roxy, and Knitting Factory and different places like that. And I just opened up for J. Cole last week, So I'm out here doing my thing, just trying to keep it pushing, and on my way just to make it to the top, just like everybody else, just trying to hustle and make it, man.
Definitely. I can feel that. And, that's big things. It's good to see that you're doing the independent scene there. It's important that you gig. It's important that you do that. So, describe the moment when you finally decided music is what you wanted to do.
Man, when I finally decided, man, my family come up in music. My grandfather was a pastor. My grandfather had over 18 kids. 10 boys, 8 girls. So he trained them to play the drums and instruments in church and different things and sing. So my dad was a singer. So I started off writing R&B when I was 7 years old. Then my Uncle Philip, who was the only rapper in the family, he started rapping by the age I was like 12. So, he gave me a pen and was like, man, you're a good writer. Why don't you try rapping? Because I wasn't a singer. I couldn't sing for nothing. So I just started doing my rapping thing, man. And from then on, I just kept going with it and became well known out here in California, man. And I'm just trying to do my own thing now. I used to be in a group, and now I do my own thing, trying to break out into the independent world of the music.
Definitely. And I think it's it's very interesting that you've gone from a group to a solo artist, because it's something that's happened to a lot of rappers, and it's benefited at points. So which famous musicians have you learned from?
Well, people like, I'm a writer, I'm a creator. I don't only write music, I also write movie scripts. That's what a lot of people is just learning about me. Like, Martin Lawrence have one of my scripts right now. Be watching out for that, Campus Security. But I learned from artists like Master P, Ice Cube, Ice-T, 50 Cent. Artists like that who went not just in a movie, not just in a music world, but also in a whole entertainment world of music, movies, drinks, just clothing line, everything. I don't just want to be an artist. I want to bring it further than that, and really do something big in the industry. So that's what I'm aiming for. And those are the artists that I really look up to, that influence me.
Definitely. And I think it's important in today's industry and economical recession that you have those kind of versatility, to go from one thing to another. You can't be standing in one thing like, I'm a rapper, that's it. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that you've got that attitude.
Don't work like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
it don't work like that. You got to be multi-talented out here if you want to make it. You can't just make it doing one thing anymore. So if you're just a rapper, get on your grind and learn something else, because that's what they want. They ain't just looking for a rapper. They looking for an artistic person, with different artistic abilities. So,
For real, the record labels and entertainment industry, they want someone they can multi-sell on multi-talents. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
So who were your favourite musicians?
Can you repeat that again?
I says, who were your favourite musicians or groups?
Oh, my favorite musicians. Oh, man. Growing up, man, I really looked up to Eminem because of the way he did it. He came from kind of the same background I came from. A kind of, distorted background, and, the way that he rapped and his wordplay that he used was so unique and so diverse that, when I first started rapping, I just used to repeat. I used to write down his raps, exactly the way he wrote, exactly the way he written. So then I started breaking out into my own thing. But, people like Eminem, I'm a big fan of Cameron, shout out to Dipset, Tupac, Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know, people are in groups like that. You know, it's different R&B groups too that I'm into, but I'm mostly into rap. So, you know, but definitely Eminem. That's my favorite rapper. To me, he's the greatest of all time, and I honestly look up to what he do and what he has done, you know, in the industry, and that's kind of the direction that I would like to go, you know, but kind of have my own little, you know, my own little shadow though. But he's definitely the rapper that I looked up to.
So who would you say has been your greatest influence then?
Man, it honestly, influence, I can't say it's somebody in the industry. I gotta say it's my Uncle Philip, rest in peace. You know, he passed away about 5 years ago, but that's the person who I look up to because he's the one who got me into music. He's the one who got me into rapping, period. I was just a writer when I, you know, 8, 9, 10, I just written, you know. But, you know, he put the pen in my hand and said, dude, write rap.
Definitely. And I think we may have just lost Paul there, so we're going to try and get back in touch with Paul P right there, as I think we lost him on the show. We must apologise to the listeners for that, but you're live back into WestSide Radio 89.6 FM. Paul, are you there now?
I'm right here. What's going on?
That's great, Paul. Sorry about that. We think...
Miscommunication. You know, I'm out here in L.A., so, you know, it's a little miscommunication, but we back on. It's all good. Let's go.
Definitely. So before the brief break that we had caused by the interruption, we were just saying, you obviously said your grandfather was one of your greatest influencers, and I was just about to ask the question that how would you describe to the listeners, or, you know, someone who hasn't heard your music before, the sound of your music?
Man, the sound of my music, man, really what I would have to say is lyrical pain with sarcastic comedy. And what I mean by that lyrical pain aspect, it comes from the negativity that I've been in my life, you know. So I've been through a lot of, you know, I had a big family, so it's a lot of, you know, and we didn't grow up with money, you know. I'm from Compton, and then I moved to, you know, West LA, you know, when I got a little older. So I didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods. So, you know, lyrical pain and sarcastic comedy. Lyrical pain aspect, it comes from, you know, also the bad relationships I've been in. You know, I mean, people say I'm not a bad looking dude, but I've been in a lot of relationships, man. So, you know, I talk a lot about the different relationships and the things that people go through, and like a lot of people don't know about, you know, like, it's a lot of things that's being talked about in the industry dealing with music, but I talk about things that you don't usually typically hear about, you know? You know, so that's where I come with my music, lyrical pain and sarcastic comedy. So that's the direction I'm hitting. And everybody, you know, go check out my stuff on paulp2012.com. You'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. You'll love it. You know, it's a lot of great songs on there, and I'm doing my thing with it. So check it out. I know you'll love it.
Definitely. I mean, I love the way that you're coming with that, and I think it's good to have that mix. And what I really love, Paul, is the fact that you're mixing it with real experiences, and I think that's one of the most important things you've got to do as an artist, because a lot of artists nowadays aren't real. That is the problem that we have with the industry. There's too much commercialism, isn't there? You know, like people will just say, yeah, you know, everyone seems to have the stereotype around rap that it's just about guns and, you know, girls and all of that, and you're coming with a different angle, so much respect to you for that. So going on to my next question, that kind of links in with it, actually.
Oh yeah, before you go back to that question, let me go back. Shout out to Watts too. I lived out there for 8 years of my childhood, so I got to shout out to Watts too. So I couldn't leave that out, but we could go on. I just wanted to say that.
No problems at all. So do you perform in public?
Oh yeah, I perform in public a lot. You know, that's a big thing. You got to connect with your fan base. You got to connect with fans. So you got to perform in public. You know, that's very important. If you're an artist, nowadays we all know the internet is really big. You got to connect on the internet, but you know, personal basis, you got to connect with your fan base and people that's out there trying to look for you where you at, where you perform at. You know, that's very important.
Yeah, definitely it is. And I mean, I think public performances are important, because I'll tell you a little story. I don't know if you've heard of the singer Jessie J. You may or may...
Yeah, the Jessie J.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Jessie J. Well, she does the X Factor now. Before Jessie J got big, this is perhaps 2.5 years ago. Jessie J was on West Side Radio. She came in, she conducted an interview, much like yourself and what you're doing now. And Jessie J was telling us the story about how she went to London. She got rejected by all the major record labels. They told her she just had no talent. She wasn't good enough, right? They says, what we're going to do with just a girl who is just a singer. She can't do anything else purely, So she got rejected by all the London record labels. Right? They said, no, not interested.
Wow.
So she didn't have any money at the time, right? Jessie J maxed out her credit cards. She was on a £5,000 limit, which is, around $8,000. So all her credit cards were maxed. She took a flight to the US. She started doing gigs for free independently in the US, in New York City. Within 2 weeks of doing shows in New York and all the different regions of New York, she had a record deal. So
wow, that's big right there. I give her a lot of props for that. That's real big. And one thing I want to say to all your listeners that's trying to be artists and people out there trying to do their thing like me. I want to say this: what you was just saying about Jessie J. To do what I do, I didn't give up everything. I gave up my job. I lost a lot of friends and a lot of family members turned their back on me. I get in and I gave up on a lot of relationships that I had. God blessed me with some of that stuff back. But in order to get something that you want, especially when you're trying to get in this industry, you got to give up everything and you got to eat, breathe, and sleep this music. Because if you don't do that, you ain't gonna make it. Because it's already hard enough. You can't live comfortable and try to make it in the music industry. You gotta live on the edge, and you gotta go through the pain. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be a lot of things a lot of adversity and things you don't want to go through. But that's the business, and that's what you gotta go through. So big shout out and big props to Jessie J. That's the way you gotta go.
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. I mean, the amount of rappers, we've had Wiz Khalifa here on the show as well. Wiz, before he got big with Black and Yellow, he's a key example as well. And, it's the same kind of story. He's been through a lot of stuff. Girls didn't want to know him. Now they want to know him. Do you know what I mean? So you do. It's totally right what you're saying. So, how do you handle mistakes at a performance?
Oh man, handle mistakes. You just got to keep going. I mean, honestly, it's probably a good 4-5 times that I know I've been through, different mistakes and performances. But only thing I tell people out there is when you have a mistake, you got to keep going. I don't care what happened. The light shut off, the music cut off, the music starts skipping, you fall off the stage. It don't matter. You got to keep going and you can't stop. You got to get up like nothing happened, and get the crowd back up into it. Because one thing about a performance, you could lose that connection really quick. Yeah. And that's one thing that's important about is keeping that connection. That's important. So, I mean, I've been through something before to where, the radio shut off. The speakers and the wires was messed up or something, so the music shut off. So